In these scenes, something the world has been waiting to see. Today is exactly 100 days since the first case of what we now know as COVID-19 was reported to the World Health Organization. The WHO learning of this 100 days ago today. And it started, as we now know, in Wuhan, the Chinese city of 11 million. Today, the city is emerging from lockdown, a lockdown that has been in place since the middle of January. And there you see people who received clearance could not wait to break free and to go somewhere. The airport's very busy as about 200 or so flights left Wuhan. Let's go back to Patrick Falk, who has been with us throughout this crisis, particularly as it was affecting Asia in those early days. And there he is back with us this morning from Beijing, right there in the core. Of course, Beijing back to normal for some time now. But now Wuhan. So a great escape. Tell me about the lockdown being lifted, Patrick, and how people are reacting to that.
Hi, Heather. Well, yeah, that's absolutely the headline. But as one epidemic control official in Wuhan put it, just because the lockdown is being lifted doesn't mean that the city has got the all clear, nor does it mean that they are easing up on restrictions. So what's really happening in Wuhan is, they are going to be able to move about a bit more freely, but they are going to have to adhere to the same sort of measures, the safety measures that have been put in place across much of the country. People wearing face masks, you can see them all as they go past me here, and also keeping their distance from one another as much as possible. But, you can only imagine, if you went through what the people of Wuhan did, what an important day this is. The city of 11 million people has been under a lockdown for 76 days. And remember, a lot of those people don't even come from Wuhan, and they've been stuck there. They've been absolutely desperate to leave. So it is a day of celebrations, and we saw there was a big light show that took place last night, but also just a lot of relief for many, many people. The China Railway Corporation, in fact, estimated 55,000 passengers were leaving the city today, aside from the flights that you mentioned. So really, a lot of people were expecting to be rushing out over the coming days.
So a little bit of uncertainty, I guess, in terms of the complete lifting here, Patrick, in that there are rules still in place to govern the people of Wuhan. Maybe talk a little bit about that uncertainty, but I'm also interested in your perspective on things. I was reading some accounts about how this is a profoundly damaged city. This is a real trauma to all of the people who've lived there, and I'm wondering maybe if you have any early read on how things have changed there as well.
Well, a lot of people also feel that part of the reason why they are lifting the lockdown at this point, even though there is a lot of uncertainty, particularly about imported cases of infections and asymptomatic infections, these silent carriers we're talking about, people there are fed up and they need to get life back on track. And the government, no doubt, is acutely aware of that. And so it is trying to ease up as much as possible. There is a lot of anger. We are hearing reports of that, about how the situation has been dealt with. And in many ways, the people of Wuhan have suffered more than anybody else imaginable across the world. But look, as far as the restrictions go, there are still hurdles for a lot of people to cross, if you like, in order to leave the city. They do need to carry a certificate or a QR code to show that they have a clean bill of health. And this development is also overshadowing quite an important piece of news, and that is that in Heilongjiang province, a small city there in the province that borders with Russia, there has been an outbreak of sorts that's taken place, and we're hearing of a lockdown that is being put in place there right now. So as they've managed to put the fire out, so to speak, in one city, we're seeing another fire emerge elsewhere. And, this sort of thing could go on for quite some time. We are seeing another rise in cases of infections today. It has been fairly steady over the past couple of weeks, but who knows where things head right now if China doesn't keep its guard up.
Patrick, I really appreciate hearing from you again. Thank you very much. As the lockdown lifts in Wuhan, there is reporter Patrick Falk from Beijing with us this morning.